Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another video. Today we are back with the Premier League content and we're doing an updated Premier League table prediction. As you can see, we've got all the Premier League badges scattered across the bottom and we've got to put them on this tier list. You've got the top three, fourth to sixth, the top half, mid-table, surviving and the bottom three. So stay tuned to see where I put your Premier League team. Make sure before we get into today's video that you've hit the like button and subscribed, and let's start at the top and work our way down. The top three is pretty easy. I think you'd all agree with me putting Manchester City up there with Liverpool and Chelsea, and to be honest, I think that's the order it's going to finish in as well. Manchester City have opened up a gap now, and when Man City open up a gap more than 6 points, they never let it slip. And the reason why is because they've got a filthy squad. The squad depth is unbelievable. And then you think Chelsea, not in great form. Liverpool are about to lose Salah and Mane to the Africa Cup of Nations. It's all set up for Man City to win. It's a shame because as a neutral, I was hoping we'd get a really good three-horse race. And a few weeks ago, it was looking that way. But Manchester City have done what they do best and opened up a gap. That 2-1 win at Arsenal the other day with that 93rd minute winner, it's a sign of a team that wins the league, and I think Manchester City will. That is my top three. Now next up, you've got a battle for fourth place, and these are the three teams I think that are going to battle for fourth. I think it's going to be Arsenal, Spurs, and West Ham United. I think whoever finishes fourth out of these, it's going to be a London team. That's what I'm trying to say. It's going to be Manchester City, Liverpool and Chelsea. And then the battle for fourth is going to be between these three. Arsenal are looking so much better this season than previous seasons. This looks like it's their best chance to get into the Champions League. You think they don't have to worry about Europe this season. I suppose Spurs are in the same boat. West Ham do have the Europa League still going on, so I suppose that could serve as a distraction, but still don't rule them out. They've got Antonio, they've got Declan Rice, Moyes is a class manager, Lanzini, he's been quality recently, Souček. The battle for fourth is between these three. I think it'd be between these three London teams. Who do you think is going to get in there? Next up is the top half, and you've got to put Manchester United in there. I'm sorry, Man United fans, I don't think you're going to battle for fourth. The recent result, 1-0 against Wolves, just basically points out all the flaws at Manchester United. Defensively, they're shocking. I don't even rate De Gea anymore. Going forwards, I think the goals have dried up. And I think the problem with Manchester United, it does stem from the top. I think the owners, I think the managers haven't been great. Although I will give Rangnick some time. I'm not trying to say this is his fault. This is a problem that's been brewing for a few years. I think personally they need to give Rangnick a bit of time. I mean, going on to next season, the season after that maybe, because I think realistically he will be a good manager. But at the moment, there's flaws there. I think some of the players think they're bigger than Manchester United. You've got too many big personalities there, and they don't really play good enough football consistently. They can play good football every now and then, but not consistent enough for me. Who's going to be joining them? I'm going to go for Wolves to join them in the top half. I think Wolves are a very decent team, especially this season. I definitely underestimated them with my start the season predictions. I think I put them right down near the bottom of the table, and they've been sensational, haven't they? Adama Traore is back to his best. Jean Moutinho, Neves. I tell you what, Jose Sarr, what a keeper he is. And yeah, Wolves will finish in the top half. It'd be great to see if they could battle for Europe. Joining them, you've got to go for Leicester City. I think Leicester City are always a strong Premier League outfit. Maybe not having their best season, but when you've got Maddison in the form he is, Jamie Vardy's still bagging goals at his age. Very good team, Leicester City. You can never rule them out of battling for something. And yeah, I think they'll be top half. Could even win a cup again this year. And then joining them, it's pretty tricky to see who's going to be the last team to sneak in there. I'm going to go for Palace. I think Crystal Palace have been sensational this season. I really did underestimate them as well as Wolves at the start of the season. Vieira has done sensational. You think of the stability that Roy Hodgson offered to come into that job. It could have all unravelled, but no, he's done fantastic. Gallagher's been sensational. Edouard, Benteke's been scoring goals. I think Palace this season look a really good team, and it'd be sensational to see them push into that top 10 or even the top 8. And then we move into the mid-table section. You've got to start with Brighton, who could even try and sneak into the top half, but I'll put them mid-table for now. I think when you've got Graham Potter, you're always going to play nice football. Morpie's been scoring goals. They've just got some very good players, Brighton and Hove Albion, and very sustained in the Premier League now. Never look like going down, do they? Joining them in the middle of the table, I've got to go for one of my favourites, which is Brentford Football Club, the Bees, who have been a real asset to the Premier League this season. I love teams like this. I love stories like this, like we had with AFC Bournemouth, a club that have come from nowhere, a club that you wouldn't expect to get to the Premier League, but they have. And Brentford, I think they're just so well run. You think they're a team that don't have an academy, you think that might be a problem, but no, the recruitment is so phenomenal that they just look like they won't get relegated from the Premier League this season. And I don't know, I think they could really stay in the Premier League for a few years to come. I think Tony, Mbuemo, Wisa, there's plenty of goals there. I think at the back, you've got Pinnock, you've got Janssen. There's just so much quality at Brentford that they're going to finish mid-table for me. I like Brentford. I really hope they do sustain it this season. Joining them, I'll have to go for Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa appointing Gerrard was the right decision. It's looking that way at the moment. They're really looking healthier and more of a threat, to be honest, as well. Villa really needed this. You think they're actually a pretty big club. I think it's been too long since Aston Villa have actually finished in the top half of the Premier League. And yeah, I think this season's a sort of transition season, isn't it? Because Smith's gone and Gerrard's only going to have half a season to play with things. But what will be exciting for the Villa fans is what Gerrard can take them on to do next season, because I don't think they'll go down. It's about looking forward to next season for me. And then joining them in mid-table, I'm just going to go for Everton, although their form recently has been shocking, hasn't it? Everton don't look convincing whatsoever. I don't blame Rafa Benitez, because you look at the managers they've brought in over the years, Ancelotti, they've just, none of them have been able to work it out. None of them have known what to do with Everton. You think Dominic Calvert-Lewin coming back for that Brighton game should have seen them win, but they didn't. And I don't know with Everton, there's just big problems there. I think they're probably a bit naive in the defence. There's a couple of youngsters in there. Goal scoring wise, sometimes just not good enough, but there's potential at Everton. They really need to turn things around because they're a big club, and it's a bit shocking at the moment. Surviving, I'm going for Southampton, who I don't think really are going to be near the relegation battle. They'll probably be about 14th or 15th for me. The reason why, James Ward-Prowse, I absolutely love the guy. He is class. Not only him, they have got goal scorers in there as well. I'm a fan of Che Adams. There's just plenty of decent players at Southampton. I just think they're a very well-run club. They don't look like going down. I mean, they're never going to finish in the top 6, but I don't think they're going to finish in the bottom 3. There's always 3 worse teams than Southampton. And yeah, they're a credit to the Premier League. I like the football they play. They don't play unattractive football, so I like Southampton. Joining them, I'm going to go for Leeds United. Leeds, who've definitely not been as good this season as last season, but then there's been a few big injuries with Bamford and Calvin Phillips, and I think Cooper as well. So Leeds really have been unlucky this season. But that win against Burnley just before I did this video is huge. That Burnley game really was make or break, even this early on in the season. And I think it's just put enough breathing space for Leeds to be a little bit more comfortable, play some more confident football. And Leeds, I think under Bielsa, are always got a win up their sleeve. So I think Leeds will be all right this season. And then this is where it gets impossible. I think right now we're looking at a bottom 4. I think if I go through each team, we'll start with Watford. They're obviously the team above the relegation battle at the moment. They are 17th. But they're losing quite heavily at the moment. I think they've lost 5 or 6 games in a row. Ranieri's probably going to be sacked soon. They always sack their managers. Whether that brings a new manager bounce, we'll wait and see. If it does, then Watford could stay up, because the position they're in, if they win 1 or 2 games, then they'll start to cut some teams adrift. But I don't know. I think Dennis has been sensational, and I do want Watford to stay up. I do like them as a club. I do like Ben Foster, and I like Elton John. There's a lot going for Watford for me, but I don't know. We'll come back to them. Burnley, the thing that annoys me with Burnley is everyone always just says, well, they'll find a way to survive. That has been true over the last few years, but it can't keep happening. You'll see over history, football tells you that you can't just keep surviving. I mean, you can have a team that does it a few years in a row and you're like, bloody hell, they've done it so many times now, but eventually the trapdoor will swallow them. And I wonder if it will be this season. If it's not this season, then it could be next. But Burnley, I think the Premier League's maybe outgrowing them a bit. They haven't particularly got worse, but the Premier League's got better. You think of the teams you've got in the Premier League now, Leeds, who've obviously got some good players, Southampton, you've got Villa, who've brought in Gerrard, Brentford, who've been a brilliant addition. Maybe Burnley can't do it anymore. Norwich, I'm sorry, Norwich. I think there's a way you could get out of this. If these other three teams really, really struggle, then Norwich could. But I think Norwich are always a team you're going to lean towards going down. And they did get off to a good start under Dean Smith, but they've been on a bad run since then, and they just leak too many goals for me. And then the wild card is Newcastle. And they're a wild card because of the new owners. If January goes their way, if they get the players they want and they start to play good football immediately, then they come shooting out the top and the bottom three get cut adrift. I don't know if that'll happen. What am I going to go for? I'm going for Norwich to go down. I'm going for Burnley to go down. And I think I'm going to go for Newcastle to stay up and Watford to go down. I just think January might just save Newcastle, and it's so important that Watford keep Dennis scoring. I don't know if he's going during the international break to do Africa Cup of Nations, but I worry for Watford if Newcastle start winning, because Watford for me are the team to catch for those bottom three. And that's how my Premier League prediction is going to look. So then guys, that wraps up today's video. Let me know your thoughts down below. It's such a wild division, the Premier League, isn't it? It's the biggest division in the world. And yeah, give me your comments down below. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.